Hey everyone, Wintermute here. It's been a while. This video is going to be a devlog on the making of Danger Close Dice, a game I made in 2 days for the GMTK 2022 Game Jam. I'll take you through the whole process of making this game from start to finish, beginning with prototyping, to writing arcade music, and building heat-seeking rocket AI. Alright, let's get started. I have a small tradition of getting myself bubble tea before starting on these jams. They're a tasty way to motivate me, with the added benefit of a sugar rush and caffeine boost. I'll need it to start off what's sure to be a hectic rush of weekend game making. While waiting in the lobby for the theme announcement, I got my desk and recording setup ready. As soon as I know this year's theme is Roll of the Dice, I'll start brainstorming and looking for references. This one felt a little bit too constrained, but that's okay. It's an opportunity for a challenge to make something unique. And here's a quick prototyping montage as I set up my environment and try to figure out the game mechanics to find something fun. One idea that's been rolling around in my head, no pun intended, was an arena shooter or area defense game where you play as a dice. There's a region that you try to defend, while enemies travel from left to right or from all over the screen. You move by rolling, and the sum of your rolls will stack up for some sort of combo effect. I worked on this idea for a few hours, but it felt a little bit too restrained and random, involving little skill or calculation. But that sum of dice rolls idea stuck around to the end. The next idea was to focus on the rolling mechanic, particularly the dodge roll of Gungeon, Renown, and from other. Dodge rolls are a neat multi-function mechanic because you can avoid damage by timing the iframe right and also reposition yourself quickly. I wanted to elaborate on the combat side of this mechanic, so the dice roll would also perform a random effect every 3 rolls based on their sum, ranging from a small AoE attack to a homing insta-kill. Static area defense got boring, so I changed things to a sumo game where you die by being knocked off the board. I love games that use environmental insta-kills, so I tried adding such elements here. Knockback was the main focus, so you'd have to avoid enemy attacks while trying to hit them off the board yourself, making sure not to stray too close to the edge. It also makes this game hyper-focused on movement and fast combat, rather than the messy stat management of managing your health, which I think is important for a game jam. You gotta keep things focused, otherwise they spiral out of control pretty quickly. Knockback naturally lends itself to an explosive theme, so most of my enemies are designed around that. All of them are focused on forcing you to reposition yourself properly, but a few of them even give opportunities for friendly fire, another great mechanic. It feels really nice when your enemies can destroy each other, particularly if you can trick them into doing so, and this adds another interesting strategic element to positioning. Now, instead of just trying to get yourself out of the way of danger, you're rewarded for taking risks and getting close to enemies, and then getting out of the way at the perfect moment. I'm not sure why I have such an affinity for these birds, but I think it's partially because it's very funny to juxtapose these cute chickens and the intense destruction. Not sure what that says about me. I think the homing rocket AI is one of the main attractions here. They pose a big risk to the player, but also an opportunity to cause huge self-damage reactions. So here's a quick demo of the steering physics. I'll show you the difference between simple and complex steering and how to make homing projectiles look a little more realistic. In this demo, we have 3 vectors: a purple line which indicates the rocket's target velocity vector, which points towards the mouse in this demo, a cyan line which indicates the rocket's current velocity vector, and a yellow line indicating the shortest path between the two, which is the seeking vector. In the simplest case, the current and target velocities will always align. This is equivalent to an object having pretty much 0 mass or almost infinite acceleration. This looks a little bit unrealistic, since we can turn 90-degree angles and even do a 180 instantaneously. One trick to adding realism, therefore, is to set the acceleration to a smaller finite value. By reducing the acceleration, you'll see it takes some time for the current velocity to track to the target velocity, and so corners become more and more rounded. This gives the opportunity to evade and tactically redirect these missiles, which feels way better. Something we get for free is that since the rocket's angle is locked to the velocity vector by taking its arctangent, the angular acceleration is also constrained to a finite value. This is pretty simple to implement, and I'll post a guide I used in the comments. I'll also put this demo up if I can figure out how web export works in Godot. Now, something you'll notice too is that if you set the acceleration low and the max velocity high, you can actually get the rocket to orbit a target and never actually strike it. This is a glitch that shows up in the Battlefield games sometimes, where a homing rocket will circle around at insane speeds against a target helicopter but never actually hit it. For the music, I went for a different approach, focusing on an energetic beat to fix the explosive aesthetic. One technique I often use is music stacking, where pieces of the music fade in as the game progresses, as a reward and benchmark for how well you're doing. I messed around with a few bass lines, percussion, melody, and ornamentation, and I ended up with a song I'm pretty happy with, though I wish I could have integrated in the guitar somehow. I think it's pretty neat to see how different pieces of the music fade in and combine together to make something that's more of the sum of its parts. This game has the opposite of the warm lo-fi plus world destruction vibes I usually go for, but maybe that's a breath of fresh air. Okay, thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it entertaining, maybe learned something. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll try to post more frequently. Also, I rented out some expensive audio equipment for this video. Think it was worth it, or should I just go back to my old mic?